Zaire starting the game, it looked like the defense looked pretty strong, and then as the game progressed, FSU was able to do some things. What were they doing really well on offense?
After a while, we were stuffing them in a run. They definitely had a lot of big plays. I think that kind of the theme of the day. The deep ball the two deep balls to start off the game. Then the 7 route. I think for the 4th touchdown or whatever. So I think they had a lot of big plays. And then as the game wore on, just kind of being on the field so much, their offensive line started to get a little bit more push, a little bit more confidence as they kept getting success, and they were able to just keep pushing.
Did you have any inclination during the week at practice that Golson was not going to play? Did you guys prepare at all for McGuire?
No, we had no idea that he wasn't going to play. We didn't know Cook wasn't going to play until last night, if I'm not mistaken.
Did that change anything, knowing that it was a different quarterback? Was your strategies and game plans a little bit mixed up?
Yeah, I would think so because we're familiar with Golson. We played him when he was at Notre Dame. We kind of understand his tendencies and the things he's good at and things he likes to do. And dealing with a quarterback we never faced before, we didn't get a chance to get a good look at a week's worth of preparation for. I think it definitely changed a couple things.
Steve?
Zaire, the drive right before the half, you guys score, and then the short squib kick, Coach Schaefer said that he just hit the kick, and you give him good field position, they go down and score right before the half. Can you speak to, the momentum swing going into the locker room where you guys had it within a touchdown and that drive there?
Huge momentum swing. When you're playing we talk about playing a talented team like, Florida State, you can't give them opportunities to separate themselves, if that makes sense, and to continue on momentum. Once you can't give a talented team momentum because, then you put yourself in a hole. So, we had good things going for us. 3 and out. Then our offense drove the length of the field on them. A squib kick and a quick score before halftime definitely hurt us.
Any other questions for Zaire?
You guys have dropped 5 in a row, but there's still a good chunk of football left being played. How do you sort of, especially as a captain, how do you really rally the troops around you?
Yeah, tell them to keep working. I was just thinking to myself in the locker room, it's really easy, to come in here and talk to you guys when we're 3-0, we're 1-0 in ACC. It's easy to talk about what Central Michigan almost did, what Wake Forest almost did, you know what I mean? But it's hard to come in and talk about what Florida State did, what Pittsburgh's did. That's hard. But at the end of the day, it's about the standard and, who you want to be as a team and as a teammate, So you got to come to work every day, regardless of what's going on around you, and you got to give 110%. And I think that's definitely something that I preach, that I know Luke is going to preach, I know Coach Schaefer is going to preach. That regardless of how these games are turning out, if we keep working, we keep doing things we're supposed to do, eventually, we can turn the tide.
Thank you. You'd mentioned in one of your earlier comments talking about the deep game, and that's something Florida State hasn't done all year. Is that a vertical game? Did that catch you guys off guard, do you think, at all?
Yeah, when you speak on it, when you're watching them on film, you really don't see a lot of vertical play. They have a lot of athletes with 15 and 8 guys that can really run and really good in space, but when you scout them, they don't really have a lot of vertical plays. But I think that was definitely probably an emphasis they had coming in to the day, and they definitely had success with it.
Last 2 questions, Matt and then Steve.
I know you had a little more time to prepare for Patrick and at the backup running back, but what did you see from him today?
Who's Patrick?
Josh Patrick.
Oh, 9.
Running back, yeah.
He's a big dude. That was probably the biggest thing, especially after playing the guy from 37 from Pitt last week. It's just when the guys like that weigh so much, and Fournette too, when they lean, it's hard to stop the momentum to make them fall backwards. I think a big thing as a defensive player, you never letting I think it's power in making an offensive player get up off his back every play. And when a guy has so much, is so heavy and so big, when they lean, it's hard to stand those guys up and get them going out of the way. But he's faster than I think you think when you see a guy his size. So he's a really talented player.
Zaire, going back a moment ago when you were talking about it's not as easy to address the media after losses. Is it easier to some degree to keep the guys together and keep playing hard, given how young you are and all the freshmen, all the sophomores that there is a future for you and a lot of these guys in this program? Does that make it easier, or is it hard to see that when you're going through it and the losses are starting to pile up here?
Well, honestly, I feel like it's twofold to that because on one hand, I walk out in the fourth quarter, and I have an entire freshman defensive line in front of me, and it's not like we're just putting subs in. Like, these guys have been playing. It was the same thing in the first quarter. You know, these guys have put in a lot of work, and so, you know, there's definitely like optimism. You know, how young we are. I'm only a sophomore myself, but at the same time, it's like, you know, the future and like potential just means that you haven't done anything yet. You know what I mean? You can't focus on what you're going to be. You got to focus on the now. You got to push now. You want to win now, obviously. So yeah, it makes you. I guess it helps you sleep at night knowing how young we are. But at the same time, no one wants to keep coming out with all these losses.
I mean, I got it. Yeah, like I could have done a lot better. A lot of mistakes that I could have fixed, and you know, when I watch them film, and just, you know, got to get rid of the ball and be smarter with the ball.
It looked like even when you did have time, you know, you scanned the secondary, and it didn't look like there was much down there, or much open, at least. Is that a good valid statement?
Yeah, I mean, Florida State's a great defense. I mean, they're very athletic, and they fly around, and they make it tough. But there was gaps. I just had to find them. So.
A couple more questions for Eric. Steve?
Eric, it seemed like the game shifted momentum-wise, that last drive right before the half where they were able to punch one in, and then you had the fumble early in the third quarter, and they went down and scored. Did you feel at that point it was starting to slip away? And I guess how frustrating was that stretch where, you know, you got within a touchdown, you think you're going into the half, get the ball to start the second half, and things kind of came unraveled? Yeah, I mean, at halftime, you know, we were still pretty confident, we had some momentum. I mean, of course, like, you don't never want them to score going into half, but fumbling the ball, that's unacceptable. I got to tuck it away, and you know, I really killed the momentum. So.
Any other questions for Eric?
What's the message in the locker room from Coach Schaefer and the captains as, you know, now losses are starting to pile up a little bit? You know, how do you stay motivated? A lot of football left to play this season.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Schaefer's just trying to really keep us, you know, motivated and positive. You know, the captains are too. I mean, we're young, but we don't want to lose, you know. That's not an excuse. So, I mean, we just got to keep working, and we got a lot of games left. So we're hoping to win a couple more.